before we get into the review, make sure you go check out IamModestMedia.com. Our very own Modest Media has services, so go check out the website. Anything you need, videography, all of that good stuff. You already see the production on Dead and Hip Hop. Go check out our Instagram, Dead and Hip Hop. Everything that we're gonna review is on Instagram, so go follow us. Go follow us individually, FIFO247, KB BZ430, Mike C-Town. Now back to Pharoahe Monch. Dead and Hip Hop album review. Pharoahe Monch, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I was introduced to Pharoahe Monch through the Locks. You know, I've always been a big Jadakiss and Locks fan, so I always knew of Pharoahe Monch. I always liked him, but for me, he's always been like a feature guy. I never dove into any of his projects, so this is really the first project that I sat down and listened to the entire thing. And I could say, look, just even from the features, the little bit that I did hear of him before, he was always a beast. It's just, I guess, I just never dove into him. I guess he just never really caught me like, yo, I gotta go check out the album. I loved him on everything that he was featured on, you know, from all of these New York cats that I used to listen to way back in the day. But this project right here was a very, 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 very good project. It's kind of like a tale of two halves for me, where the beginning half of this all the way up to until Scream, I really loved it. It was really, you know, I felt like it was more gritty, it was more New York. It's just the Pharoahe Monch that I always liked when I heard on features with other people. Then after Scream, you know, it kind of slowed down, and you know, it was cool. I definitely did not like Scream. I think that was my one throwaway track, like just punt this bitch out of here. Like I did not like Scream at all. But I could definitely say like he had a string of like my favorite joints on here. Damage, Bad Motherfucker, Rapid Eye with Black Thought. Man, as soon as I heard Black Thought, every time I hear him, it's like, yo, it's not fair. Like Pharoahe Monch came in and I'm like, yeah. And then Black Thought came and I'm like, who the fuck was on this shit with him? Like Black Thought, like every time I hear Black Thought, I think of B. I'm like, yo.
And I think even Pharoahe said on Twitter that Black Thought killed it. Yeah, he admitted he wanted to go ahead and get it out the way.
Yeah.
He was like, Black Thought.
Yeah. Like when I heard it, I just hear B. Yeah, Black Thought. Yeah. Oh, I also have to talk about Side Effects. The interlude, the little interlude, because I feel exactly the same way. I be watching TV. And it's like, oh, do you suffer from, you know, urinary problem? Well, take this medicine, and you get like 30 other things that get fucked up with you to cure one thing. Like, what? Why are you even gonna take that shit for? So I really like that, because I feel like that all the time. You watching all this TV, I'm like, I wouldn't even take this medicine. Like, you're not helping me, you're hurting me. But you know, overall, I thought it was a pretty good album. You know, the second half it gets sing-songy, so I wasn't feeling it as the first half. But it nonetheless, it's Pharoahe Monch, man. Dude's a lyrical beast.
Pharoahe Monch, man, is easily one of those MCs that for whatever reason, he's underrated or his name just don't come up enough. You know, when you talk about dope MCs. And you know, as we mentioned before we even started shooting, he's a guy, he doesn't release mixtapes, he don't put out free projects or anything like that. He concentrate on the albums and what he wants to put out as art for him. This album to me, man, is great, because I think what it does is you look at the title, Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder, and you look at kind of some of the subjects that he touched on in this album, you know, from mental health and black people thinking that, you know, it's a white thing, and it's not. You know, you look at The Jungle, where he's talking about the inner city jungle and the stress that comes out of that. And you look at, and you know, immediately when you see the title, you think about war, and that's a part of it. But there's so many other facets to it that people can be stressed out on and react. And that's what I kind of take from this album. I think it was a track he was talking about this dude going to work, and I think it was the first two. Yeah, and then he gets fired, and he go open fire on people. And if you look at the world today, there's so many things that he touched on that applies. We have people running around shooting all the time. We just had one in Penn College. You know, somebody opened fire, and that's right up the street. So for me, man, I think from just a cerebral standpoint of just how he sat down and put this thing together, how it opened, you know, dark, and it opened serious, and then it went from that to this to the second track, and then it went to Heroin which was kind of like a throwback. It had kind of like an old 70s type sound to it with the thing, and then that led into Damage, you know, and the different flows that he used on Damage were creative within themselves, and even the way he put the skits together, man, I thought this was a well thought out project that Pharoahe put together. It's not too boom bap-ish, rappity rap. Is very, you know, the sounds are very diverse, and you know, it keeps you, you know, engaged and listening to it. And side effects, I think side effects is another thing. If you take the skit side effects and apply that to everything else, like, you know, when people go through, like the kids, say for instance the kids go to these schools and they give them Ritalin and stuff like that, and all of that stuff, the side effects that come from that, you know, and how that affects society as a whole. Broken Again was another good one. I think even the title track, I think that was about suicide. So, man, just this album is, I just thought it was really great with what he did conceptually with it, and how he addressed a lot of the societal ills that are in the world today with just that title and how he wrapped everything around it, man. And I got to give him props, man, for this, man. I think this is a great piece of work. I really do. I think this is an outstanding album, man. This was dope.
I'm with Ken. I love this album. I thought this was actually Pharoahe Monch's most focused project since Internal Affairs. Really, coming off from war, and by him calling this post-traumatic stress disorder, and it starts right off, like I said, with Time 2, him going. It's like he touching on issues, almost like he created a character that's coming from war and coming back home, having certain issues, going to work, whatever, shooting up, dealing with war, losing my mind. How he talks about thinking about, you know, he said my cylinder, you know, my gun going click, because he's thinking about suicide. I thought that was ill. Damage. He continued with his third. This is third time talking about him being a bullet, which I thought was cool. Not a gun, but a bullet. That's why he said the slugs go through and everything. So I thought that part of the album was dope. Yeah, Black Thought. I mean, this is the reason why I always say he's forever like in my top 5, top 3 MC, man. Black Thought annihilated that album for like a minute, his verse for like a minute and a half. I didn't know it was gonna be that long. I was listening to it, I'm like, what in the fuck? I had to rewind that shit like 3 times, like this motherfucker Black Thought ass, man. Like, this is why every time when I think of a MC's MC, Black Thought is like, he's that dude, man. That's why he was on my Mount Rushmore. Up to the album, I actually like Scream, because like, I think I'm looking at it from like a concept standpoint. Like, okay, this is again the character that's back in war. Yeah. He's going through all types of, you know, motherfuckers be crazy, man. And that's why you had that prescription, that interlude, because it's like got guys coming back from war that's, you know, taking these prescription pills that's trying to calm down their mental state. So I think that's why that's why they threw that little interlude in there right there. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Concrete Jungle. Yeah, that's another one. I think it's just that concept, that theme, how you talking about how, yeah, I'm back in the city, but yeah, I still gotta have stress on other people. I can't be around other people. I can't be around my family members. Just that's why I think that's why he was naming like different countries. Like, yeah, we all in the jungle, because everybody's gonna have that coming back from war. You're gonna have that mental. You're gonna be in a fucked up mental state. And then I thought Broken Again was for it. At first I was wishing it was gonna be like a darker production because of the content he was talking about. You know, him, you know, end up shooting heroin in his arm and stuff like that. But I'm kind of glad it was kind of touching on the production was lighter. Because to me, it looked like he was kind of like looking at himself and reflecting on like, okay, damn, I'm doing some fucked up shit coming back from this war. I'm affecting my family. I'm affecting people who I love. So I thought, at first, I didn't like it because I thought the production was just too happy for me. But I can understand why it sounded like the way it did. And then, the title track, I thought the title track was dope. And then it ended out with the Grand Illusion, where it was kind of like, I thought it was a great closure, the way he kind of like have it to where he kind of was hoping he'd do better things, or hoping he can turn around for the better after coming back from war. I look at this as a whole concept as him coming back from war, because his last album was called War. So it was like, okay, he's sticking with that same concept. He's continuing, he's picking off right where from where it left off at. So I thought it was dope. Like I said, I think this was his most focused LP since Internal Affairs. And the way the way he paints pictures, man, on this album is like, damn. I knew he had it, But I think he really showed me on this one that he can really paint pictures in his rhymes. He can be more than just a spitter. He can actually paint pictures and sit down and give you a great concept album, which I thought he did a great job of doing. So
that's very clear.
Yeah, very clear. Each track I was like, man, like, now the track I didn't like, one track that I would say be my throwaway track is the Dream track with Talib Kweli.
Really?
Yeah, you like that?
I liked it better than Scream.
I thought it followed. I kind of got the placement of it. Yeah. But I didn't think it was a bad track though. It was uplifting. I think you needed something.
I just thought the hook was so corny. I don't know. I thought it was just so corny. The song was just, the song was corny to me.
What was the hook?
I can't. I mean, it was.
I don't even remember the hook. The verses were so fucking strong, man. Talib Kweli's verse
Talib Kweli was
incredible.
good, but I mean, it was okay. I just didn't like that song. Yeah, Black Thought did the shit for me. Fuck all the other shit. But yeah, I like the album though. The album is great. I thought this was like Ken said, well thought out. He sat down with this. He painted a picture for us for post-traumatic stress disorder, and he laid it out and gave it to us.
Agent 13 makes his appearance back again from the War album.
Yeah.
We Are Renegades.
So I guess I have to go back to War to, I guess, maybe feel this
gotta
more.
listen to all of his albums,
I mean,
man.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, to feel this more because just listening to y'all two, y'all,
that's
I'm
why
like,
he named that this. And
wasn't.
then when I saw it,
You never heard War?
yeah. So when I saw it, I was like, okay, this is what he's doing with this. So I was hoping he was gonna execute this well, and he did.
Yeah, I think I took this album a little bit different than you guys. I could be 110% wrong, but I was listening to it as not really a person that was coming back from war, but from someone that was just going through a lot of shit here. Like, you know, the economy and living in poor neighborhoods. And I discounted the whole going to war part completely. And I thought that maybe Pharoahe Monch was relating to everyday struggles with depression as war. I didn't take it as literal as, oh, this person just went to war and came back and now he's just depressed. But maybe I could be completely wrong. But other than that, I agree with you guys completely that I think this album is absolutely incredible. I wasn't sure what to expect after War because of like any hip hop fan. I, of course, loved Internal Affairs. I loved Desire. I was not really big on War. I didn't think it was a bad album, but I wasn't huge on it. That's why I was going to say it's not mandatory that you go back and check out War. It might make more sense in relation to this album, but I think this album completely blows War away, 100%.
Oh yeah.
This is, like B said, this is definitely the most clear and focused Pharoahe Monch has ever been. He finally, in my opinion, got the perfect production. He sounds amazing over this production. Every single beat, he doesn't try to be too laid back. He's not trying to be too rambunctious like he used to be back in the day. He's just completely riding the beat so perfectly. When I listened to this album, I did not expect it to be this cohesive of a project. Pharoahe Monch, in my opinion, he put together, I know the last few reviews we've done, I've said this already, but he put together one of the best albums of the year. Like, I don't know how in the fuck I'm gonna narrow down my top five. Like, this album is incredible.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, it is a good thing, but I can't even name well, I can say Damage was definitely one of my favorite tracks. Bad Motherfucker, of course. Bad Motherfucker, man, shut your mouth. Definitely, of course, Rapid Eye Movement with Black Thought, because oh, yeah, and you know what? The thing about this, I love all the Roots albums, of course, but I always seem to like Black Thought on features because he's not tied to a certain subject. He can just spit, and he's always the best when he does that. This shit again brought me back to I always forget the name of the track, but I know you'll know it. The something bars. Was it 88 bars or
75 bars?
75 bars.
Oh man!
It always brings when he rhymes like this. It always brings me back to that track because he was just going off. I don't think he necessarily outshined Pharoahe Monch because Pharoahe Monch definitely did his thing, but Black Thought, it's just when he speaks, he's so fucking authoritative, and he just has those bars.
He doesn't have to be loud. Like, he doesn't have to overtalk. He doesn't have to do anything extra. And that's something to be said, that you could just be you and kind of be more commanding than anybody else that's gonna be on that track with you. That's hard to fuck to do. Yeah, that's hard to do. Yep.
You're absolutely right. He just shows up and just says shit. I send shots to Greece, to Merc Socrates. I bear arms like button-ups with no sleeves.
Yes.
Oh fuck, I forgot the line. Something about parentheses. I'm possessive like apostrophes.
Yeah.
God damn. But yeah, I think this album is incredible, and I think this shows that Pharoahe Monch is seriously one of the most underrated rappers of all time, easily. He's a wordsmith, and this brings to another thing. I actually got into a discussion on Twitter with this guy who said Eminem had the best flow of all time.
Oh, I remember.
And I said, it's your opinion, but I think you're crazy. There are plenty of rappers who have better flows than Eminem. And he said, name one. The first one I said was Pharoahe Monch. And if you don't believe me, listen to Damage. Listen to the multiple flows he uses on that track. And then tell, I mean, Eminem, come on, I'm a stan. I love Eminem, but
And
Monch?
I don't think he was trying to tell a story so much. Maybe
he was just. I think that's why I took it as, again, I took it as he's just talking about people in America that are living in impoverished areas that are just going through post-traumatic stress because of the world, not necessarily because they went to Iraq. Just because some places that people live here are worse than Iraq.
I think it's only a good album mainly because I'm probably a Pharoahe Monch newbie. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't really dove into him, so this is just my first experience with him on a full project, and I thought it was good. It didn't necessarily blow me away, and I guess mainly because I don't have that past history with him. So I'll go check them out, because all of these motherfuckers, like when they get excited like this, I have to. I feel like, okay, I am missing something. So I do gotta go check out Internal Affairs, and I'll go check out War as well. It's definitely something that is happening in the world today, you know, and it's something that is tangible, because even if you don't know, there's probably somebody that you know that knows somebody else that's dealing with something that's on this album. So it's personable in that regard. So I definitely think it's a good album. I probably will change that later after I go back and listen to more Pharoahe, but I definitely fuck with it. It bumps in the whip. Go support.
This album deserves to be supported by everybody out there that's watching this show and that are fans of Pharoahe Monch. And if you're not, if you want to go back and if you're new to Pharoahe Monch, you know, still, and you like this album, still go out and buy it. And check out all of his other work and go buy that as well. I have a tendency to navigate to albums that address, you know, societal ills that are in the world. I like those a lot because, you know, it's relatable. We see that happening on a day-to-day basis, and he touched on all of that in such a creative way, from the production he picked, and even just not rapping, just rapping for the sake of rapping. You know, he changed it up from song to song, even the beats. He gave me guitars and rock shit or whatever, and even the skits were short, but they tied it in and helped keep it cohesive and cohesive project. But all in all, man, I think this is one of the best albums of the year. It's my personal favorite, and everybody should really go listen to this and go buy it. So please support this guy, man, because we got to support the guys that's giving us, you know, stuff that's good like this, giving us this top quality, and we have to put our money behind it. So
love this album. Like we all been saying, go support this. This is on his independent label, War Media. So support him, man. He's been pushing his album. He's been pushing for us to listen to it. Y'all go cop it. I love this album from front to back. This is, like I said, this is Pharoahe Monch's back. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's back focused. He's back making great albums again, and check it out. Like I said, he's not dropping no mixtapes and nothing like that. Buy this album, listen to it. I love it.
I think it's a masterpiece, and I don't know if it's my favorite of the year yet, but it's definitely right now in my top 5, easily. I just think that Pharoahe Monch is, again, one of the most underrated rappers. He's got one of the best flows in hip-hop, one of the best voices in hip-hop. Jesus Christ, his wordplay is just fucking ridiculous.
package, man.
He is, yeah. He's totally the complete package, unless you're looking for like some mainstream hit type of rapper. But if you're looking for a guy that can make songs and is a spitterific rapper and has great beats, then this is the guy, man. And you know, every time I think about this album, the line about, oh Jesus, he had some crazy line about an internal hard drive. Do you remember that line? Or he said something about, fuck it, doesn't even matter. I can't remember it because I don't. No, he said something about if I could change time or something, I can't remember the line. Something about getting an external hard drive so I could motivate myself internally or something like that. It was a crazy line. But anyway, this is an amazing album. And yeah, I definitely think that people should go and support this guy because not enough people talk about Pharoahe Monch.
Nope.
And Ken touched on it. I think there's something to be said about someone that just absolutely does not drop mixtapes ever. He takes his time between albums. He took 3 years between this one. I think it was even longer.
4 years between
the other one.
War and Desire. Yeah.
Right,
And,
it's just
8 years from Desire from Eternal Affairs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because he wants to make sure he's giving you the best project he can give you. When you listen to this album, this does not sound like something that someone threw together in a year.
Yeah.
It does not. You can tell that he had to perfectly craft. I'm gonna say this right here. I'm gonna say this right here. I'm gonna do this right here, because the way his flow is, the way his rhyme pattern is, that's not something that you just wake up with. That's not something that you just learn. You could tell he's a seasoned vet, and he's not an old head like you guys try to say. I dare you youngsters to put this on and be like, yeah, this is like some old head shit. Fuck out of here, man. This is hip hop. This is a dope hip hop album, and yeah, that's really it. Y'all need to go buy this shit.